of time and space. Everywhere and anywhere, every star that ever was. Where do you want to start?
Hi, I'm Mark and welcome to All of Time and Space. As we reach the end of the year, it's time to pause and reflect on reaching a turning point in our journey. What better way to celebrate than sitting down with friends and looking back at the Troughton era and the 60s as a whole? Before we join Joe and Frazer, I'd just like to thank our guests who've made this such a fun experience for Iain and I. And secondly, I'd like to thank all of you out there for your continued support. It really means a lot. So sit back, grab some snacks and a beverage and join us for a 1960s retrospective. And welcome back. And we have been joined by two of my favourite podcasters for this very special episode.
Two? Fuck off.
Oh, yeah, and Iain. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry about all you other podcasters that weren't invited and aren't his favourites. But
No,
there you go.
no. Joe, I'm going to let you into a little secret here. I do that every time people come on, so I just say they're my favourite.
That's how
to
you
make
get
them feel
people
good.
back. That is how
Yeah,
you
exactly. Yeah. Because no one actually bothers to listen to it after they've been on. If you didn't recognise that voice already, that was the delightful Joe Ford, who's currently having some Skittles.
Hello there, you're very professional. Hello! I thought maybe I was, because we're doing the 60s today, aren't we?
Yeah. Yes.
I thought every now and again I'd punctuate with a 60s classic to get everyone in the mood, you know?
God,
Anyone who had a heart would take me in their arms and love me too. There we go. That's your start of 10.
Wow.
Can we have a stopper for 20?
And follow that if you can. We also have the wonderful Frazer Gregory. Hello, Frazer.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having us on board. Don't worry, I will not be singing this evening.
Oh, well,
Thank God for that.
that makes two of us. Okay, well, we finally reached the end of the 1960s, the end of the black and white era, the end of Troughton, and the end of the missing episodes era as well. So it's plain sailing from here on. Oh no, hang on, no. Just remembered who's next. Oh well, you can't have everything, can you? But that's for another episode. Lads, I'm not sure I've heard you speak specifically about where you sort of rate Troughton amongst the Doctors. Joe, what is he up there with your favourites or?
Definitely.
Or what?
Definitely. Colin is my favourite Doctor, but Troughton is the only Doctor that threatens to push him off the top spot, which is why when they came together in 1985, I was so happy. I love that story if no one else does. No, God, Troughton's amazing, right? Probably the best actor to play the role in the classic series. So many things I love about him. That I love the fact that he's that Doctor that everyone fucking underestimates. He's the clown in the room, but he's really slyly figuring out everything, you know, and waiting to make his move. And no one's looking at him because he just looks like the idiot in the room.
Like Sylvester McCoy, but better.
Well, maybe a better actor than Sylvester McCoy. Although Sylvester McCoy does that brilliantly as well, right? Like
He
that,
does.
you know, clowning about.
Just trying to wind up Iain.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It succeeded.
But as well, is there any other Doctor that allows himself to be more afraid than Patrick Troughton? And I think that is the key to his success, that he literally, oh my giddy aunt got me gumdrops, goes through every story. And the kids are terrified because the Doctor's terrified, you know. I remember watching him as a kid and go, well, if the Doctor's this scared... And I remember watching The Mind Robber, and he's there in that first episode in the TARDIS, absolutely terrified. And I'm like, excuse me, this is my safe place. What's going on? I think he's extraordinary. Yeah, I think he's a great actor. I don't think he ever disappoints. throughout the entirety of his run.
Frazer, where does he rank for you?
I mean, Matt Smith's always the 11th Doctor's my favourite, and I've always had a soft spot for Tom Baker as well. But I think, you know, with Troughton, he's certainly up there in the upper echelons. I mean, I don't have a Doctor I don't dislike. Sorry, I don't have a Doctor that I do dislike. You know, I enjoy all of them. I enjoy all of them to various levels. I think the thing with Troughton is exactly what you've said there, comparing with McCoy, because he is that sort of scheming Machiavellian type character underneath it, but he just covers it so well with the scruffy clothes and the prattling around, you know, jumping up and down, clutching his arse and falling over, and all the rest of it. It's a brilliant performance, and he's probably the most important Doctor that we've had, because off the back of William Hartnell having to leave, you know, to keep the show running, he really did have to come in and sell the Doctor as the same character that the kids, the families, the public have all come to know and love for 3 years. He has to come in and play that part without making it just a copy,
a rehash.
Without like an impersonation of William Hartnell. He has to come in and do something of his own, and I don't think we can really understate or underestimate the importance of him getting that right in that first series, in that first few stories, of absolutely just coming straight out the traps as being the Doctor, whilst not being the Doctor at the same time, being different but entirely the same. Such a difficult thing to do, and he pulls it off superbly.
The nerve of you saying that he's got to come in and not be an imposter, and he spends the whole of his first story being an imposter, and then the whole of his second story being about 3 different imposters.
Impression, I said. Do an impression.
Okay. I apologise.
Of William Hartnell, you know, because if you look a little bit further back, you know, when they're trying to get rid of Hartnell, when they've got some ideas that they're going to make him invisible, and they'll bring him back from the Toymaker as a different actor, you know, or if they're going to go into the Savages and he's going to have his consciousness transplanted into another character, and that's going to be the Doctor going forward. You know, the onus, the impetus there would very much be Bill Hartnell, you know, just with a different face. Troughton comes in and goes, well, I'm going to be the essence of the character, but I'm going to do my own thing. And it does take him a little while to figure it out, how he's going to do it. But by the time...
To Matt Quatera, I think. I don't think it's until maybe the Moon Base, the middle episodes of the Moon Base.
Even in the Moon Base,
he's
there's stuff going on there in the Moon Base. You know, his performance is really brought right down in the Moon Base. I think it's really not until about 5 when he brings it back up again a little bit. He's not quite going up the heights that he was aiming for in Underwater Menace, but he gets it back up there, and he's and then, you know, he's getting into Series 6, and he's really going for the comedy in Series 6. I mean, that's
blissful, absolutely blissful. That bit in the Seeds of Death where he's running around that moon base, come on, it's so funny. Or the bit in the Invasion where after all the bangs and flashes, he's sitting there having his picture taken. Oh please, this is my best side, thank you. It's wonderful.
The bit in the Crotons where he's like, what's that do? Give it here. No, I figured it out. Give it back.
Or just the line, I was bored. Okay, as his reason for leaving. Oh, wonderful. Although they did try it, didn't they? That you said there about they could have just brought in an actor and had them play William Hartnell, and they tried that with Freddie Yeager in The Savages, and they obviously went, no,
it's not working. It's not working. You know,
they tried to make him vanish in the Celestial Toymaker, and maybe you come back and no, that didn't work either. Oh, sod it, just have him change his face,
and we'll just not explain it. What if the kids ask? Well, we'll just handle it.
Well, tell them about the birds and the bees instead.
I mean, Ben spends the whole of that first story saying, are you sure this is the Doctor? Because he's us in that story, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, he's defeated the Daleks, and we're like, oh yeah, he's the Doctor.
It's like 6 weeks of them just not explaining what's happened. So it gets to the point where it's like 6 weeks in and the Daleks are defeated, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, that used to be a different guy 6 weeks ago, wasn't it?
I'm doing a podcast for you, Frazer. 6 hours of not explaining what on earth you're going on about. Sorry, I didn't say I was going to be nice tonight.
I think for me it's been almost like a voyage of discovery. Although I've seen all these stories before, just watching them through in that broadcast order does give you a different perspective on it. And certainly, as I've said before, I had a complete reappraisal of William Hartnell after finishing his era. Just seeing that journey that he goes on is quite something compared to just watching them piecemeal. And I think I've kind of had a similar thing with Troughton, in as much as I've always really liked him and I always rate him as an actor, and I've perhaps put his stories up on a pedestal, but I think I've possibly had the inverse reaction. As much as I love Troughton, when his stories are great, they are really great, but there's a certain drop off for me, and it's possibly sacrilege to say so because the monster season is so beloved by everyone.
Thank God somebody said, did you get repetitive strain injury with all those bases under siege and intransigent base commanders? Thank God there's someone here on my side in this call.
But yeah, if you think back to Hartnell's era, it's such an incredible range of different stories. You never know from one story to the next what you're going to get. And that follows through to the early part of Troughton.
And the end, right?
You mentioned Macra Terror is fantastic.
And 6 as well. Suddenly you don't know what you're going to get from week to week. Yeah, but for absolutely. 6 stories, you know exactly what you're going to get, unless David Whittaker's writing it.
It gets a formula, and they kind of stick to it. And in a way, that kind of sets a lot of templates down for what comes later. But yeah, I think I still love Troughton. I think he's really... really good, but I don't know. I feel like my appreciation for his stories has possibly gone down slightly.
Ooh.
Maybe partly because I've been spending so much time with Iain, who, let's be honest, you've been a bit down on Troughton, haven't you, for a while?
I love you three guys, and it's really nice to be on a call with 3 of my favourite podcasters. What I'm doing now, I suppose technically is known as a filibuster. And the idea is you keep talking for as long as you can without answering the question. And you're able to... I wouldn't last 5 minutes in Congress, would I?
Would you like me to take over? I can do
Yeah,
this.
could you? I don't know if that's allowed within the rules of the filibuster, but I'm not American, so...
Well, unlike season 5, we can absolutely break our formula, can't we? And have Frazer do the questions.
So I think with Troughton, I think he spends a couple of stories zeroing in on the character he's going to portray. And he's a very good actor, and it's a very level, consistent, excellent performance. I just think it's a slightly irritating take on the character. I don't like all the constant panic terror, clutching his arse and running and going, oh my giddy aunt.
He's the only one who does that, though.
Exactly, and I don't think it's becoming of a Time Lord.
Would you rather him just walking around like an imperious prick all the time, going, hello, I'm Doctor Who, and I'm here to defeat the enemies?
I mean, that's what we've become used to, and that's what I think the audience like.
You're a fan of the Capaldi era, aren't you? I forgot, yeah.
But what I was thinking of is the best way to look at Troughton's performances when he gets the chance to play someone else, when he's Salamander. He is amazing in a way that when Tom is Meglos or when Peter is Omega, they don't necessarily bring the same brilliant gravitas to it. So I think... I think Troughton is great but grating, and I think his stories are either brilliant or the mind robber.
Ooh. Wow.
Just super brilliant, right? Okay.
But the thing is, right, is I think all of that clowning around, it's deliberate clowning around for the reasons I stated earlier.
Yeah.
But then when the mask comes off, he's just astonishing. Like the bits where he's up against Tobias Vaughan and he's winding him up to the point where Vaughan, who's been cool as a cucumber throughout this thing, is suddenly screaming his head off at the Doctor because he's so frustrated. Or he goes, oh, by the way, whilst I've kept you waiting, I've sent your entire fleet of Ice Warriors into the sun. Is that all right? You know, like, I don't know. I just think he's amazing.
Yeah. So let's have a quick poll then. What would you guys say are the classic Troughton stories then?
If you go certainly by our ratings, the invasion was very high. War Games scored very highly.
Web.
Web of Fear.
Yeah.
Moonbase.
This is a staggeringly predictable list.
Obviously, the Underwater Menace.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
that's slightly
classic.
skewed by your score, but yeah.
Well, that was the point, wasn't it? Where he realised he's like the most over the top thing in the whole series, and then First comes along doing whatever, and he's like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
I'm never ever gonna top that. I better underplay this."
Yes.
And then suddenly he starts doing that from then on.
Yeah.
That's like Tom in the Horns of Nimon, isn't it?
Yep.
Up against Graham Crowd, and he's like, "Oh, there's no way I'm
Good
gonna
lord, that guy's actually
be able to
mental.
outdo that."
I reckon if you're phoning in on like what's the ultimate Troughton story, I think it's probably Matt Quatera, because he is the utter anarchist in that story.
Yeah.
You know, the naughty boy stirring up everything. You know, he's wonderfully funny and insidious in that story.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I was hoping we're going to say things like the Web of Fear, Tomb of the Cybermen, Enemy
We
of
weren't
the
going to say
World,
anything from season 5.
Fury of the Deep, because they're all in season 5, which is his best season.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it is.
Did you not just name all the same stories with different working titles?
Absolutely not. No. Let's because this is the
Plot point by plot point. I think you did.
this is the criticism that gets levelled at this season. Okay, and I mean, Iain, Mark, you guys have probably got a different perspective on this because you have done that watch through of where you start at one and you watch them one after the other. So probably by the end, I will grant that you are getting a little bit okay. I felt the same when I did the season 7 box set and I got to Inferno because it was here we are in another beige scientific establishment run by the military where something scientific's going on that's going to go tits up. So
Spoiler, folks. That's what you've got coming next.
We were not exactly looking forward to it in the first place, but you really sold it to us now, Fraser.
It's basically season 5 without a sense of humour. You know. It's like-
But this is the thing, because it's that season. It's very much like a production choice of they're going to go for that type of story. They're going to say, well, we've got 6 episodes mostly, but what we need to do is really get the most out of that budget. We need to keep the same sets, so we need to keep the same locations, and it's studio based for the most part. So that really sort of sets the tone and drives where they're going in storytelling terms. Iain.
And as a consequence of that, and keeping the costs down to a level by having the same sets week in, week out, when they do want to fling a bit of money at the screen, in Enemy you've got helicopters, you've got beaches, you've got in Web of Fear, you've got the battle in, is it Covent Garden?
Yeah.
And those stories, because they are all on a production level, they're all very similar. The flourishes and touches that are brought to them by the directors and the writers are enough to make most of that series not feel like it's part of that formula.
Yeah.
It's only really, I think, the Ice
You are
Warriors story.
mad. You think the
No.
odd flourish of location.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard your episodes. By the time you got to the end of the season, you were going, who is it this week? Clint, Hobson, Robson? I'm not sure which intransigent base commander we're talking about this week.
But it's
Sure.
What did Victoria run snivelling away from this week? Ice Warriors, Yetis,
Was it a pencil?
Daleks.
Yeah.
it's the thing is though, it's the old adage of if it's not broke, you don't fix it, because it works.
I think if it's not broke, they couldn't be bothered to fix
No,
it.
it's what they do. You can see this from Tomb of the Cybermen through to Fury from the Deep. Space. We'll just put to one side for a minute. They absolutely hone this format. So you get to the point where, we can't see Fury from the Deep. It's lost. We've got the animation, which is brilliant. But, you look at what we can see at Web of Fear, it's exactly what you're saying, and they are getting everything they can out of that budget. So they have got their set. They know they are going underground, into the underground, so they build this set, which, will the stories say, they had the transport police coming around saying, well, you've been filming in our underground.
Oh, don't drag out that story. Don't be that obvious, Fraser, on this.
But, you look at that, you can believe it because it is such a a well put together story. It's well, directed by Dougie Camfield. It's got everything going on in there that you want from this story. So you get this real sense of practice. Practice makes perfect.
No, because I saw that last week next week in Fury from the Deep, and I saw that last week in the Ice Warriors, and I saw that the week before in the Abominable Snowmen. And if you think they're getting better as they go along, the last Base Under Siege story in that run is the Wheel in Space. There is a flaw in your argument.
Technically, the last story in that run is the Mind Robber, because
that's not a Base Under Siege.
Exactly. So they've changed. They've come off and they've started doing something different. But
that's because Dix has come in. Dix has come in towards the end of that year. He comes in around Web of Fear and goes, "Enough of this."
Never heard of him.
Derek, you can't keep telling the same story over and over again. We're off to the land of fiction.
You're just making up names now, right? But the point is, these stories, for all everyone say, "Oh, it's the same plot over and over." It's not the same plot. It's not. It's not even
the same. It's the same base elements: a base, a commander, a second in command, and maybe a moral debate. Victoria's going to run around crying a bit. Like, there are the same base elements here. Now, you find any of those elements in the Dominators and the Mind Robber?
Because you have things like the Tomb of the Cybermen, right? So this is a classic Base Under Siege story, is it?
Well, I'm not sure the Base Under Siege story had actually been created at that point.
Of course it had. It was in the 10th planet.
One or two. Yeah, there's only been two, though.
Yeah, 10th planet, moon base. So this is your classic...
fellas, I didn't realise this was going to be this combative.
Tomb of the Cybermen, is it a classic Base Under Siege story? Yes or no?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
You said no?
No,
Well,
because
that's conclusive.
It's got those two camp classics, Klieg and Kaftan, in it, and there's no one camping all the others. They're just wonderful.
And the
Steer back, Doberman! Oh my god, wonderful.
I mean, there is a base, but is it really under siege? It's not really under siege because it's like the Cybermen are trying to get out of the base and attack everyone, so it's a base on siege. Is that, so that doesn't really work. What's up next? It's the Abominable Snowmen, is it?
Yep,
Yeah.
which is just some funky monks hanging around in the snow.
So that'll be the one where Victoria runs around crying at everything, is it?
Well, she's not used to the imposing proximity of all those large balls. And when those large balls are coming at her, she, rightly, because, she's a historical character, she doesn't know what to do with herself.
Is there a more annoying sequence as well than that bit where she goes, "Take me away, take me away," and we have to hear it over and over again for a whole episode? Boy, oh boy, talk about writing to somebody's strengths.
Right. Remind us, what comes after Abominable Snowmen?
The Ice Warriors.
Ice Warriors, which is brilliant. Oh, absolutely. Dudley Simpson knocking it out the park. So the base, again, it's not really under siege, is it? Because no one actually attacks anyone. They shoot them once with a laser gun. That's pretty much it. So I really don't see where the base is, but you've got that really good, nice dynamic between the love triangle, haven't you, between Penley and Clent and who's the little eye?
That hairy man. Yeah,
Yes.
Angus Lenny's
Angus Lenny.
Hairy.
Yeah.
Shuey McPhee.
Yes,
Shay is.
McPhee, up in his mountain, being all hairy and
Fresh from Crossroads, yeah.
It's unbearably dull, though, isn't it? The Ice Warriors. Let's be honest.
It's not. It's really not. It's really exciting. It's really fun. You've got like people being threatened by bears and all.
Have we watched the wrong one? Ian, I think we might have watched the wrong
You
one.
have to remember, though, Mark, Frazer watches a different series to every other Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, I watch the fun stories like the Ice Warriors, which has got Ice Warriors in it, and
I think in isolation, it's probably a very different experience. But when it is coming right in the middle of all those other bases,
And
however,
that was a base too many. A bit like
it was deliberately formulaic as well. We know they were making it for the Americans that year, and they deliberately created a repetitive formula because that's what the Americans liked.
So what's the next story then after the Ice Warriors?
Enemy of the World.
Oh yeah, that's a classic Base Under Siege.
Now that is the outlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then what have we got after Enemy of the World?
The Web.
The Web of Fear.
Classic Base Under Siege. Yes.
Yes, classic because it is classic because by this point they know what they're doing. They're getting it right. The Yetis are back because they were such a success in the Abominable Snowmen because everyone hated that apparently because it was so dull and repetitive. But yes, the Yetis are back to take on basically,
I love the Abominable Snowman.
It's not the genesis of Unit, because that would probably be the War Machines, but this is sort of the exodus of Unit. This is, maybe he's Unit's second trimester, with the invasion being the third trimester. But you can see in the Web of Fear, you can see exactly what's coming in 2 years' time. You've got the grumpy scientist and his young, very intelligent female companion. It just so happens it's like father and daughter, Travers and.
But we know as well, Frazer, that Troughton himself, let's take his opinion over yours. He was the Doctor after all. Troughton himself, at the end of that season, when he said, yeah, you know what? We've done that quite a lot now. Can we do something else, please?
Oh, you never listen to the talent. You just get them on screen.
You do when it's Patrick
Do you imagine
Troughton.
how many times the producers of EastEnders hear that same argument from their characters? And they're strong enough to make them go with it. It's like, yes,
But
we
whatever-
know Ian Beale, just shut up.
Yeah.
Lose
So you
it.
go
Whatever
from
you
Web
might
of
think
Fear.
of the mind robber, Ian, the whole series breathes a sigh of relief when the mind robber hits, and there's none of those predictable plot points. There's not a single location. There's not an intransigent base commander.
absolutely.
There's no companions snivelling around. It's going from fun set piece to fun set piece in really wacky, crazy, imaginative ways that the show hasn't done since Evil of the Daleks.
It doesn't, because they've had 5 weeks of the Dominators before that. And let's be thankful, gentlemen, and everyone listening at home, that it's took me so long to get into this podcast before I mentioned the Dominators.
Do you like the Dominators, Fraser?
I've watched it once or twice. It's all right.
Yeah.
The Dominators is something completely different to what's happened in season 5. It's like season 6 has a mission statement. That's just a fun run around in a quarry with a load of shitty robots, and it's really, really fun.
I
Season
think
6's mission statement is, let's just get something out. Because we
Yeah,
haven't got the
great.
writers, we haven't got the money, but we've got to get something out.
Yeah.
And look what they've got out. The war games, the invasion, the mind robber, the seeds of death. My God.
I mean, if you'd said the
Sorry,
Crotons...
Fraser,
I'd be
we
on
better
with you.
shut up for a bit, all right? He only asked one question.
Ian, go on. You're jumping at the bit.
I was just going to say that thinking about it, like, if the base under siege stories from season 5 had been spread out and there'd been like 2 or 3 in every year of Troughton and the other stuff as well, it would have been so much better. But because they kind of really clumsily just then went, right, this middle year we're just going to do this one thing, people react to it in different ways. Some people loathe it, some people recognize it for the occasional splendors it contained, but
Occasional, yeah.
had they
Occasional.
just been able to spread them out a bit, then I think even I would be a bigger fan of the Troughton era.
I think I might be in danger of being accused by Joe going into cliches here.
Oh, go on.
But
don't listen.
You're so pretty, you could get away with it.
oh, you. Do you think I'm possibly was being a bit unfair on Troughton because we can't see so much of his stuff? Thankfully, we're in a better position than we've been for many a year. But because we're having to rely on animations and telesnaps and things, do you think we lose quite a lot of what would otherwise be perhaps much better stories if we could only watch them?
I think we've seen enough of Troughton. We've seen early Troughton, we've seen the end of Troughton, we've seen the whole middle Troughton. We know what Troughton is. Now, some of those stories that are missing may have interesting production values or set designs, or the other actors may have been doing some interesting business, but we know exactly what we would have got, and it was...
Well, your favourite, The Underwater Menace, that certainly went up a bit in my estimations because that episode came back.
Yeah.
I hate
And
to
you could see the
disagree with
Christensen
Ian,
he
you
was
know. I
bringing
don't
to it.
like disagreeing with people, but
Yes, you do.
I think he's talking complete nonsense because look at the reputation of Enemy of the World before and after it came back to the archives. Before, people were like, yeah, that kind of middling, boring story. And then it came back and people saw it and went, oh my dear God, that is a banger.
That's a great point, and I'll shut my face, but let me ask you a follow-up question, Your Honour.
Please.
What would be the next Troughton story that could come back, that could undergo just such a re-evaluation?
The Space,
Space
Pirates
Pirates.
by a mile.
There we go.
Spare me another slice of bread. Milo
reckon-
Clancy for president.
I think the thing with Troughton is he's a physical actor. So
Yeah.
you don't know what he's doing You know, we don't know what he's doing. We can animate him. We can take a guess, and we can.
No, you can't
But
animate
you can't because what we're doing, we're not doing sort of like a Toy Story type animation, or we're not doing sort of like what you're getting with these computer games that you get nowadays.
Have you not seen Ian Levine's recons?
Oh yes,
We still have the nightmares.
but you know, I mean, the classic example is that Underwater Menace, where you know, the clip comes back and you see him sort of like when he's talking about Zaroff, knock on his head and put his hand to his ear to symbolise. You know, so we don't know that he could be doing that all the way through. You know, everything in season 5. Get season 5 back, and you know, he could be doing a little jig. He could be like.
Imagine if they animated that sequence right at the start of the Mind Robber, right? You know, where they're outside the TARDIS, and he's going, "Oh, what a wonderful job we've done! A marvelous volcanic eruption." And then Jamie goes, "Look at that!" And he goes, "Oh my god!" And his whole face just changes. Like, you just wouldn't get that in animation. And it reminds me of something Justin Richards said. He wrote a brilliant Troughton book. Now nobody can pinpoint Troughton in prose. It's really hard, because he's such an instinctive actor, and he's got such a malleable face. And without being a tedious writer and going, well, suddenly his face went from this to this, you know, like it was being sculpted in marble or some bullshit like that, which some of those writers do. But Richard said, there's no way I could capture his performance in prose, so I have to do something else. So in the wonderful Troughton book, Dreams of Empire, he has him sit down. The second he comes out the TARDIS, they're having this marvellous banquet on the planet, and he has him sit down, and he doesn't realise he's sat on a sandwich, and for the rest of the story, he's going around with a sandwich on his arse, and we keep referring to him, and no one's quite got the nerve to say, "Oh, Doctor, you've got a sandwich on your arse," and immediately you're just like, that's great Troughton comedy, you know?
Edit point, Mark, but can the name of this episode be "You've Got a Sandwich on Your Arse"? Otherwise,
definitely a contender.
Otherwise, I'm quitting now because we've reached peak brilliance.
Oh, it's a great book. It really is.
Right, where should we go next? Companions is going to come up, and I feel like the boxing gloves are going to be employed shortly.
Bare knuckle.
So we've got Jamie as a almost ever present.
Yep.
We've got the tail end of Ben and Polly. We've got the wonderful Zoe. I think that's all the companions, isn't it?
Of note, yes.
Frazer, is there anyone I've left out?
There's a sniveler somewhere in the middle.
Yes, they're so predictable. Victoria Waterfield, the best companion.
Oh, yes.
That's true.
Come on, Frazer. Why don't
not the
you
best.
build a case for the defence?
Jamie's obviously the best, but Victoria, I mean, obviously I think I've made my feelings clear on the season that she's in. I'm a big fan, and I'm a big fan of Victoria as well. I think, yes, she is a little bit whiny and a little bit over emotional at times, but, you know, that's not the fault of Debbie Watton. That is obviously the way she's written. The way she's written is very much in the Susan mould, which is the damsel. If you want to pick a literary trope, she's the damsel.
Well, she's a Victorian teenage girl.
Yeah.
You would spend the whole time crying and shrieking and what the hell. Because,
absolutely. So she is this, you know, teenage Victorian girl who's thrust into the TARDIS, you know, into an environment she's not comfortable with, she's not used to. So obviously she is going to be scared by each and every alien threat that comes along. You know, the Doctor has to take a moment with her in Tomb of the Cybermen to sit her down and kind of talk her through it a little bit. So she spends her season, you know, she never wanted to be there, and it's really telling that she gets such a lovely send-off in View from the Deep, where, you know, the whole episode basically telegraphs, you know, that she is sick of this, she's sick of being threatened, she's sick of being tormented by monsters. Even by the end, you know, the Doctor kind of forces her into screaming to defeat the seaweed. So, you know, it's really the perfect way out for her. But obviously she is this role of the damsel, so you've got Jamie next to her. Jamie, who is essentially Joe Grant. Jamie is he's thick enough that the Doctor needs to explain the plot to him, but he's not useless enough that he can actually drive the plot forward when needed. So he's this nice balance. He's basically the prototype Joe Grant. I think it's really telling that you get season 7 where Sherwin and Dix, you know, get rid of Jamie and Zoe, but bring Zoe back in the form of Liz Shaw, and then Dix and Let's decide, actually, we can't So stay in that. So we'll get rid of Zoe and we'll bring Jamie back in the form of Joe Grant. So that type of story that you get, where you've got the Doctor is the Doctor, the main character, the hero, with his plucky sidekick, Jamie, and then he's got the damsel that needs saving, is a different type of story than what you get when you've got two Doctors, which you get with Zoe. Because then...
It does sound rather formulaic, though, when you do it 7 stories on the bounce, Fraser.
Well, it's just as bad in season 6, because the thing with Victoria is...
Oh, boy, don't you dare compare it to season 6. I need you to do this for me, Jamie. Now, do you think you can manage that?
Yes.
Oh, why? Oh, excuse me? Oh, my God, so funny.
Yeah, but the problem is you've got two Doctors, essentially, in season 6, because you've got Zoe, who is, intellectually his equal. And
no, but she's very stupid at times.
They have to make her stupid. So they have to make her stupid. They have to make her naive to dress...
Every clever person I know is very stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, Nathan, that I do Untitled Star Trek with, he says some bloody stupid things sometimes. But he's very clever.
Yeah.
Hi, Nathan.
But that's the point, so when you're telling the story, you've got two pretty much similar characters. So the really telling thing with that is when the Doctor disappears in the Web of Fear, you don't miss him. Episode 2, because you've got Victoria there and Jamie, and they can just crack on. And
they're barely into, because I watched that this week. It's the unit characters that make up 2, not Jamie and Victoria.
But they are there. They're not, because they're like she's sussing out that it's Travers from up the mountain, and he's older now, and they're going off.
She's snivelling around those things, going, "Hello, oh cobwebs!"
Yeah, she goes off looking for the Doctor. But the point is, the plot can still, carry on. The story can carry on. When you get to something like the Seeds of Death.
Oh, blissful.
Seeds of Doom?
That's right. He gets knocked out by that big balloon, doesn't he?
The Seeds of Doom. The Doctor disappears, and you're left with Zoe on the moon, who does fuck all for an episode.
She shoots an ice warrior and has some fun.
Can
I offer an alternative reading on Victoria
She can solve
Woodville, please?
all of that out, but she can't because she's not Doctor Who. So she has to just spin wheels, and that episode just spins wheels on the moon with Zoe doing out. And that's a real flaw, I feel. So I think Zoe is a fantastic character, and the dynamic with the Doctor, Zoe, and Jamie is excellent.
Blissful.
But
blissful.
The dynamic between the Doctor, Victoria, and Jamie is just as important and just as good. You get to the point where you can't see either character.
Will you let somebody else talk, please?
No, because you're going to talk shit.
We've got to go to bed tonight at some point, and he'll have to edit half of what you're saying.
Oh, edit you out, that's fine. But you get the point where you can't imagine, say, Zoe in the Ice Warriors, because that story doesn't then work. But then you couldn't imagine Victoria in, say, the Dominators, because again, that's not really going to work. So, I think Victoria is very much underappreciated, very ill-maligned character. I think she's got a lot to bring to the stories that she's in, and I think that probably wraps up the recording, gentlemen. So if you just want to tell everyone where they find each other, and we'll just go.
Two of your favourite stories are the Dominators and the King's Demons. So if you're saying a character is ill-maligned, we shouldn't listen too much. Now I'm going to give a reading on Victoria now that is far more succinct and makes a lot more sense, because I think it's based on a flawed premise, Victoria, in that, she loses her dad in her first story, and the Doctor and Jamie go, right, come with us, we'll look after you, and then they put her through a series of horrific, anxiety-producing adventures, but literally give her manic depression by the end, and she's begging to be able to leave. It's such an irresponsible take on the Doctor, and it's followed up in Downtime in the 90s, where she's been dropped by the Harrises, and she's never gotten over all those horrible things. So basically, the adventures that they put her through have ruined her life. It's just, I think it's horrible, and I really hate it in Fury from the Deep, where she's going, I'm so scared, I need to leave, and Jamie's sort of going, oh, well, that's all right for you then. What a selfish cunt. I hate Jamie in that story. And I don't know, I just don't buy it, and I don't think Deborah Watling has the chops to pull off what they ask her to do that season. Again, go and watch Downtime. Father, where are you? Hideous. She didn't learn anything over the years, except how to smoke a drink. And they occasionally give her a moment of agency. Occasionally. Yeah? Like that wonderful bit in Tomb of the Cybermen where she picks up the gun and shoots the Cyberman by accident, or flirts with Captain Hopper, you know. I'm sure you'll be there, Captain Hopper, if we need you, you know, and all that. And I'm like, my God, this is going to be our victim. No. By the time you get to the Ice Warrior, she's just running around those caves and going, it's just so annoying. It's not empowering for women. We've got Emma Peel on the screen at this point, and then you'd switch over and you got bloody Deborah Watling snivelling into a hanky, the prissy Victorian miss. Whatever you say about Zoe, yeah, she's always brave. Yeah, she has tons of agency. Her brains often solve the crises that they're in. Yeah, she doesn't choose to go because she's having the best time with the Doctor and Jamie.
She's got spunk.
They're having fun together all the time, you know, and there's loads of jokes in their threesome. I just think it's a more responsible and a much more entertaining take on the same idea. And Wendy Padbury outshines Watling 10-1 in the acting stakes.
Now, let me just come in here and say that we, on All of Time and Space, do not endorse women being dropped by the Harrises. I think that's abuse, and I think it's
sounds painful.
It really
Off a
does.
cliff, you know. She started snivelling. They went, enough. What do you gentlemen think of Victoria?
I think if you watch a story in isolation, she is as annoying or not as any other companion. But I think when you consider, you know, if you really want to think about the character's arc, because, you know, it was a 60s weekly television serial that no one was thinking about the character's arc. But it is one, basically, of psychological abuse and torture, and it doesn't stack up to Ella Bean. So I think she was perhaps the bravest companion, and you know, one of the most kind of a good role model in terms of, despite these hugely crippling fears and mistreatments in my life, I'm still prepared to try and meet the universe head on. Yeah. But for what they did to the character, it's uncomfortable.
It's worse than Perry, I think. It's worse than what Perry
Well,
does. She's exploited in a different sort of a way, yeah. But Perry's got the chutzpah to sort of stand up for herself and things like that, whereas Victoria just isn't equipped, like emotionally, psychologically, to be on any of these adventures. What he should have done was say, right, let me take you somewhere where you'll be safe, instead of let me take you to the tombs of the Cybermen, you know. They're going to try and rip your guts out.
It's like you've got the kind of two problems of being a woman. You're either regarded as a sex object for your whole time on Doctor Who, and people just want to look at you and have sex with you, or you're dragged around by a bunch of men who don't pay any attention to how you're feeling or what you
That's
might
just like
want
me
to
in
do.
podcasting, Ian.
It's, you know, neither of these are great examples of how to treat our fellow. I say our fellow man, but I'm talking about women. So that doesn't...
I don't think Zoe is treated as a sex object, though, and I don't think
No.
she's dragged around by men. In fact, in the
Have
mind
you
robber,
not
she's
seen the cliffhanger to episode 1
I
of
mean,
the Maid Robber?
I mean,
That is the director, all right. That's not the characters within. Just because he knew where to place the camera. Come episode 4, she's the one dragging the men around. Lesson 42. Roar to the carcass. Although I will say, as bad as Victoria is, yeah, there is no worse characterization of a single companion than Polly in the Highlanders. What a vicious upper class cow she is in that story. Oh, you filthy peasant, Kirsty. I mean, she's just horrible in that, isn't she?
She is.
Oh, sorry, are you guys fans of Ben and Polly?
Well, I've got a soft spot for Polly, but
Oh, well.
that's not what I've heard.
You've got a hard spot for Polly.
I see. I saw this thing recently where and the name of the actress has completely slipped my brain, but Polly was saying that she was brought in to be
Annika Wills.
Annika Wills, brought in to be the first sexy companion.
Yeah, she said it.
And
She
I
said
was-
it in
yeah.
the BBV one, yeah.
And I was like, did you not see Caroline Ford? Did you not see Jacqueline Did you not?
Jacqueline Hill.
You know.
Oh boy.
Get over
Even
yourself.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, that Buffon. Oh, she's just beautiful, isn't she, Jacqueline Hill?
Immaculate. She's spotless.
Yeah. Your wife's behind you, you know.
Oh shit.
I think she's probably got a point there, because if you think, you've got Susan, who's a teenage girl, you've got Vicky, who's a teenage girl, you've got Barbara, who's a
school mom,
Dodo, potentially, but I think we can all agree that no one knows what the fuck they're doing with Dodo, especially not the production team.
Dodo's much more fun than Victoria, right?
Yeah, but she's
you
not.
Mon-eyed. What are you up to? Are you planning something? No. So much more fun.
But I think there is a certain probably element of truth in there. If you think, they are bringing in something for the dads. They do exactly the same with Louise Jameson. They do exactly the same with Nicola Bryant. You wouldn't put it past
exactly
them.
the same with Michael Praise. Oh boy, something for the mums.
And the
Arthur
Ian
Darvill.
Can I say something potentially controversial about Jamie?
It's never stopped you before, so carry on.
I think he should have went at the end of 5 with Victoria, because I don't think he's got much more to add after that, apart from his blissful chemistry with Troughton. I think he's a character in Series 4, and he gets his best character story in Evil of the Daleks, when him and the Doctor have that big falling out. Then all of a sudden he's not a historical character anymore, and he's just the action hero for 5, but he's got a purpose because he's there as Victoria's other half, technically, and protects her. And then at the end of that season, he gets set pieces in 6, but he gets no moments of development or character, and like the invasion, episode 8, he's written out of completely. You don't even notice that he's gone in the climax of that story, And so whilst I think he's always great, Frazer Hines, and he's always watchable, the character is redundant come Series 6. Fight me.
No, you're right. I think by Series 6, Jamie is basically a doggy. He's just bounding around with energy and enthusiasm. Doggy. Very cute doggy. What doggy isn't? Doggies are lovely. Lovely doggy.
Frazer's like the Jamie of A Hamster with a blunt penknife,
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm thick enough that Joe has to explain the plot to us, but I'm competent enough to drive the podcast forward.
But you're always
gorgeous
there.
Enough to keep me interested, yeah.
I mean, I can see what you're saying, but it's kind of like, it's the whole... would I want another series of this show? Yes, I would want another series of this show, but would I want to lose a season of Katie Manning? No. Would I want to lose a season of Pat Troughton and Frazer Hines together? Absolutely not. Even if Jamie has got nothing to do in that story, Frazer and Pat have. So it's all about them at this point. It's them that keeps season 6 going. We know what's going on behind the scenes. We know there's issues. We know that by the time they get to the war games, Dick Sherwin, Mackle, they are just scrambling to get something. They haven't got enough money for sets.
Hell of a scramble, Frazer.
It is.
Look what they produce. One of the best Doctor Who stories of all time. If that's improvised, they should be improvising more often.
Yeah, well, we'll not go there. But there's, it's what's keeping the show together is those 3 regulars. It's Troughton, it's Padbury, it's Hines. The chemistry.
Thank God it wasn't Watling then. The show would have gone over a cliff.
It certainly wouldn't have, because that chemistry's equally present there with her.
Together, yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Together they have chemistry. On her own, Watling is like a fish out of water.
We're talking about, 2 of the best TARDIS teams ever, and 2 of those characters are omnipresent in that, it's the Doctor and Jamie and Victoria, and it's the Doctor and Jamie and Zoe. Those are 2 of the best pairings we'll ever see inside the TARDIS.
I mean, Zoe wouldn't appear so brainy after time if Jamie wasn't so fucking thick, would she? Come on.
But that's Jamie's... Again, we're going back to the storytelling. You have to have Jamie being thick to explain... otherwise, who explains the plot for the audience? No one.
Yeah. Come on, even the Doctor gets to be thick sometimes. That bit in the Mime Robert where Zoe goes, well, that's why his face changed. You got it all wrong. Right, come here, I'll have a go. She starts doing it. Oh, she's just blissful, Zoe. I love her.
Do we think Ben and Polly would have done better without Jamie?
Yeah.
In that series?
I think so, yeah. I think Michael Graves would probably say that.
I think the character of Jamie was like a kind of further evolution on from Ben and Polly. They were kind of companions from an era where companions were slightly different and they were supposedly slightly real people, whereas Jamie is the first kind of companion with a capital C who the role is kind of, is set up and established and we know what you're doing. And Jamie just comes in and he's the first kind of generic companion and he's fantastic at it. And I don't think the way the storytelling was going, I don't think the way the formulaic nature of the show was going, that Ben and Polly would have been served very well by sticking around longer than they did.
Well, it's interesting. Just before that foursome is cut, the Macra Terror, I think they get it. That story perfect. They all get a cut of the pie there. Ben's the baddie. Jamie does the Highland fling in episode 4. It's hilarious. Polly gets to spend a lot of time with Troughton's second Doctor, so everyone gets something to do, and they're all written up, and they're all got sort of witty lines, and it's like, this could have been it. But you've got there, and then the faceless ones, and then they're all obviously. Yeah. It's literally that scatter at the start of the faceless ones. Is basically that's it. This team is now split up.
What I find really interesting about Jamie coming in straight into the Underwater Menace is obviously he is a historical character, who walks off the field of colour into the TARDIS, into slightly futuristic Earth in Atlantis, and he never skips a beat. He never, if this was 2 years previous when you've got Katerina and they go, actually, this is not going to work because she's a historical character. We can't put an historical character in the TARDIS. We've just got to explain how doors work. And it's like, no, you don't. That is exactly how you do it. You just hand wave it away. It's fine.
But it's so funny in the 60s, isn't it? Because they found all these interesting ways to just not have... Like, they started with 2 contemporary characters with Ian and Barbara, and then they found just really great ways. Vicky from the future, Stephen and Astronaut from the future, Jamie and Victoria from the past, Zoe from the future, to come in and give all these different dynamics, man. The new series has been nowhere near as bold as this with its companions, and I understand when they hire Millie Gibson to play another girl off the street, and they go, oh, for God's sake, anything but this, please,
Oh yeah.
It's like when we had what's his face, Bradley Walsh in, and God Almighty, an older man. It was just so refreshing. Sorry, I've got way off piece. I do apologise.
Fulsome agreement.
Yeah. You get no arguments from me.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting to note the parallel between sort of RTD 1 and the Troughton era, in that you have these 3 years where you've got 3 different companions. So you've got the companions changing every year, like we do with Troughton, and you've also got that rigid formula where you're sticking to. You've got your template, and you're going to stick, to your series template going through as well. It's quite.
Well, that is a case of perfecting it as you go along.
No, so it's fine when he does it, but okay.
Talking of perfecting it as you go along, we need to address the elephant in the room. Can we just talk about the Dominators and why it's so beloved by a certain person?
We can. Do we want to stop the recording here and come back for part 2 while we do this?
There's a 5-hour fucking commentary.
We haven't.
Penknife,
That's
if you
just
want to
episode 1 as well.
We haven't recorded anything for about a year. We're going to put this conversation out in 12 monthly instalments.
Yeah.
So as much content as you can give us, guys.
Yes, I mean, I love the Dominators. I don't really see why people have an issue with it, to be honest with you. I think it's just the full package for me. It really sums up sort of like the 60s stories nicely. It's got this nice sort of Flash Gordon aesthetic to it, chrome spaceships, flying saucers. We're talking 68, 69, so we are just about to land on the moon, and everyone's going to realise that space travel is really quite dull. So this...
Frazer, with 2 years' time, we go to the future, and it's those horrible bulks from Colony in Space. What happened to the future in 2 years?
It's after, we'll go into colour, but all of a sudden we'll go, oh yeah, it's actually a bit drab in space. So, between this and sort of like the Space Pirates, this is the last hurrah of, this sort of...
Hope.
Golden age of sci-fi, as it were. So that element of it, I think the the TARDIS team has served really well in this. I think, Joe, you were saying Jamie gets out of doing season 6, which I'll kind of agree with, because, like we say, this is really the back end of 5.
No, I said he got no character work. I said he had plenty of set pieces, but no character work.
He gets it in here because, there's so many moments where Jamie is actually, driving the plot forward, and he's going, he's realising.
Really thick. He has to be really thick in the Dominators, doesn't he?
But he's not thick in the Dominators, though. He's figuring out, that the shuttle's going to take them back and they're going to get zapped by quarks, and he's figuring out that the lava's going to come and blow them up. But, you've still got Zoe there, so you have the Doctor in the Dominator ship being thick with Jamie, but they've also got the Doctor in the Dominator ship being really clever with Zoe, and them two bouncing off each other. That is really how that, dynamic, that partnership between those two characters works at its best, when they are bouncing ideas off of each other, trying to figure out a puzzle. Jamie goes Bruce Willis with Bruce Willis himself, Cully, blowing up all the
Wouldn't
Dominators.
you love to watch the Doctor Who the way Frazer does, Wouldn't it be a wonderful experience?
I'd love to watch Die Hard with Cully instead of John McClane.
God.
Just imagine
They'd have to be
Cully.
very careful with the
the
camera
nappy.
angles if he's crawling through a
Oh boy.
bit of ducting there. Oh dear.
Just imagine Cully with his tube of Smarties lobbing it at a quark, going, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!" It's brilliant. It really is. So yeah, it's. And you've got the Dominators themselves. You've got these two characters who, are quite unique at this point, because we're used to sort of identical races. So you've got the Ice Warriors. You never see the Ice Warriors falling out. It's just like, oh right, okay, yeah, I'll go take over. Oh, I'll do that. And the Daleks. You never see conflict in the villains in the way you do in the Dominators. It's that what was that fella you called Dix? I've never heard of him, but it's him coming in and script editing and saying, well, let's spin this out a little bit. Let's get them fighting. It gives a really good dynamic. I mean, the costumes are just.
Frazer, you don't live in an antagonistic queer household, all right? It's very depressing to see that all over the screen in the Dominators, all right? I don't want my life on the screen.
Oh, just get the Quark to pin him to the wall, it'll be fine.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll tell you off, Mike.
But so you've got the design as well. I mean, the Quarks. This is the thing about the Dominators. Everyone slags it off, and everyone says, "Oh, it's rubbish." But everybody
They don't
knows.
anymore. They're too afraid that you're going to come round.
Yes, this is what happens if you say bad things. I crawl out your television backwards. You've got 7 days.
We're not allowed to hate things when Frazer's around.
Nope, absolutely not. But we all know what the Quark looks like. We all, they're out there. All that people say it's shit. People talk about it non-stop. Certainly.
I have to say, as a kid,
Certainly I
seeing
do.
photos of them in like magazines and books and stuff, they look absolutely awesome.
Yeah. So
When you say them, what are you talking about there?
The Quarks.
Oh,
The
you didn't say
Quarks.
the Quarks. I was seeing tits.
Oh, well, I mean,
you see tits on Quarks.
Well,
Wow.
it's hanging around with you bunch.
he's been around a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, ultimately, I think it's a really good story. I mean, I think it's got everything. I would say it's the perfect sort of primer for the Troughton era. It's got everything in there that you're going to see better in other stories. So you could show that to someone and say, right, this is a really good example of what you get in Troughton now. What would you like to watch next? Where I can, because you don't start with the best one. Go down.
Yes, you do.
You don't, because then
You do. If you are trying to entice people to watch Doctor Who,
Why
you don't
would-
show them
why-
the fucking Dominators.
why would you do that? Why would you
Bloody
say,
hell, you've lost them forever.
why would you say this is
That paper plate coming down in a quarry, yeah, it's always as good as this, folks.
You don't say this is
Fucking
this is the
hell.
best this show's ever gonna get. Watch this.
Sorry,
This
can we
is
swear on this?
This is as good as it's gonna get.
Yes, you can.
Everything you're gonna watch after this is shitter. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that if you were trying to entice someone in.
If only it wasn't executed so ineptly, though, Frazer. I mean, if you want to talk about a really maligned story that's an absolute banger, The Underwater Menace. Now, there is a banger, right? A story that can't decide from episode to episode what the hell it is. 1 minute it's a comedy, the next minute it's a farce, the next minute it's a tragedy. It's a character story about the great professor. I mean, who the hell, right? He wants to blow up the whole world, this fella.
Yeah.
Professor Zaroff, yeah? But he's on the world, so who's going to know he's done it? Is he going to send a little marker boy into space that says, Professor Zaroff did it, with all the rubble going around. I mean, it don't make a lick of sense, does it? But boy, it's so funny, that story. When they're inside the Mask of Amdo, hello. It's so camp. And Troughton dressed up as the market woman with sunglasses on. And Jesus Christ, did you see Ara in the shells? Talk about sexy.
And also, we should probably just stop talking for 2 minutes and swim around in a really well synchronized and balletic.
The dance of the fish people.
So you don't get that with 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, wonderful. Dudley goes from that to what, playing an oboe every fucking week. I mean, come on.
Yeah, crazy.
To watch that, I'll be playing with my oboe.
And there's just not enough cliffhangers where the villains talk straight out the camera to you, is there?
Right.
There's only a handful, and Zaroff is one of them, of course.
Let me just say it to you now, Joe. Nothing in the podcast can stop me now!
Oh, no. I'm 1,000 bloody episodes in with you, I know. But I think the point we're trying to make there is that even the celebrated dogs of the era have their insane champions.
Yeah. And this is what,
there's something to it.
Cycling back to the space pirates, I think that's one that when we can see that, if we could see that, or when they do the version that we were all crying out for, which is the puppet version of the space pirates, then we will see that as well. I think it's levels, isn't it? It's like the worst Troughton is still not that bad, is it?
Imagine if they had made, and bear in mind it came this close to being made, The Prison in Space. The sex comedy in Series 6 by Dick Sharples. Now, I did a 2 off TV on that recently, right? So we listened to the audio. It literally ends with sex-starved female chairman Babs, right, who's the leader of this insane colony of dominatrix women, that she absolutely falls in love with Patrick Troughton. She's running around after him, trying to get off with him. And at the end of the story, I mean, Eclectic doesn't cover it, but I think it would have been one of the more memorable stories.
Was that story written by Patrick Troughton?
I was just going to say exactly the same thing. Is Dick Sharples' Penknife?
I've written a script for you.
I hear, that Frazer only gave half the effort in The Crotons, which was made in its place, because he was all for The Prison in Space. I believe he had to spank Wendy Padbury in the last episode out of her hypnosis.
So when you said before, Troughton got the end of season 5 and said, you know what, guys, we've done this a few times now. Can we do something else? What you forgot to say was, here you go, I've got an idea. Here's a script you might want to look at.
Yes. Sorry, Patrick, this is the working title for this is Bras Under Siege. I don't know. This is exactly what we need.
Did you hear the other one that almost got made instead of the faceless ones?
The underpantsless ones.
Well, actually, I mean, I just made a joke about Are You Being Served, but it was called the big store or the big shop or something like that,
right.
And it was all going to be set in a department store. Seriously, aliens have taken over a department store. I mean,
couldn't they do that in an Avengers?
That's got to be a McCoy story, surely.
Sounds wonderful, doesn't it?
It really does.
Oh, can you imagine Cartmel getting his hands on that?
Oh.
Speaking of somebody that works in retail, I fear they may have infiltrated us already.
I mean, certainly the head office people in any company are clearly a bunch of insane aliens with very little grasp of reality.
Ian, the middle
management. You may
management.
say that, Ian. I couldn't possibly comment.
You rubbing shoulders with these people, Mark?
No, but if they happen to hear this, I really would like to keep my job. So
it's a bit like V, if you see them putting sort of mouses in their mouths, you know what's going on there. Right?
Frazer wanted to bring up the subject of female representation.
Excellent.
In 62.
No, it is excellent. I mean, unlike the 70s, where you'd be lucky to find a woman in a season.
Yeah.
Season 5 in particular, Frazer.
Absolutely.
Is superb for female rep. Faria, Astrid Ferrier, Megan Jones. I mean, Kaftan, come on. What's that woman's name with the strange accent in the Ice Warriors? Miss Garrett?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and cast the net a bit further. Miss Kelly,
Yep.
Isabel
Yes.
Watkins.
Yep.
I mean, we are just packed with a harem of
And
fabulous women.
And going back to the start, do I need to say Barbara?
Yeah.
It's from Barbara through to Zoe, with a few exceptions.
I mean,
You've got a wonderful
Cassandra from the Mythmakers. We are all doomed. Oh my god.
The what was her name? The lady from Galaxy 4. I want to say Marga.
Marga. Yeah.
Maga, that's right.
I mean, politically, I don't agree with her, but that skirt, I'd agree to a level.
What about evil colonist Jan Lee from Power of the Daleks?
Ooh,
She's
yeah.
fabulous as well. Yeah. Oh, and Kirsty from the Highlanders, wonderful. When she's not being patronised by Polly, of course.
Yep.
Of course. Yeah,
But
I
think
mean,
we
it's
all
just.
know which one we'd rather hang out with, right?
How did we go backwards then?
Yeah, what goes wrong in the 70s after this? Because
Well, Robert Holmes, obviously.
Well,
he just
yes.
didn't want to write women.
So 60s, sexual revolution, equality. 70s, all I've got is sort of, everything fell into very easy stereotypes as far as BBC television was concerned. You get much more formulaic sitcoms, and there's a whole kind of cultural ethos that was kind of replicated, I guess, in the 90s, where it's just really convenient to conform to a lot of really basic stereotypes. And suddenly female empowerment is set back about 30 years and everyone's a cracking dolly bird.
yeah.
I think Doctor Who doesn't pass the Bechdel test between the invasion in a scene between Zoe and Isabel and the Stones of Blood in a scene between Amelia Rumford and Romana. It's that long between those two periods.
It's really interesting again because you kind of, at the risk of repeating myself, you go from Zoe, like really intelligent, capable female companion, then you get Liz Shaw, who immediately gets sacked for being an intelligent, capable female companion. They bring in Joe Grant again to kind of have the plot explained. But credit to her, she is still quite plucky. She goes about and she does things.
Yeah.
And then they make a big show and dance of bringing Sarah Jane Smith in, who is the women's lib. She is the forthright, independent, very strong female character who, by the time you get to the end, is just screaming at shit again.
Oh, come on, Frazer. Look at the lines she gets. Why don't you take off that ridiculous gear and go home to your butcher's shop? I mean, she's wonderful.
She is. But you can see it tailing off, as we get into the Hinchcliffe era. You get Leela coming in, and you've got to give the credit to Louise Jameson for getting the pen out and going nope, and scribbling out every time Leela screams.
It's still tricky for women
Yeah.
that season, I think. It's
It
not
really
until
is,
16.
especially-
It's 16 where it starts turning around.
Especially when you're up against Tom.
Yeah.
And you are
Yeah.
having to, as a fresh out of order actress, put your foot down and
Oh, that
Yeah,
take,
against-
wasn't it? That
yeah.
take they had to do 8 times because he wouldn't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
what she wanted, like what they'd
Yeah.
rehearsed.
Yeah.
Horrifying rock.
And
yeah.
even when he did what she wanted, she went up to him and said, "Thanks for doing it." He went, "Yeah, that's all right, love."
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Put her down even then.
Yeah, and, it's I'll still maintain that Louise Jameson is the best actor we've had in Doctor Who, not because she gives
You didn't say Deborah Watling.
the sort of on-storm performances you get from Capaldi and Coleman, but she takes what little she's got and elevates it, so she is always looking to do something more. So
People give the 80s a hard time, right? But
Yeah.
Captain Briggs, Rack in Enlightenment, all of those wonderful villainesses in the McCoy era,
Yeah,
Helen
well,
A,
it's-
Morgaine.
all undercut by Perry. It's all
Yeah.
undercut by. You talk about formula. The formula of the week for the Colin Baker era is Perry tries to get. So no, the villain of the week tries to sexually assault Perry.
Yeah. Let's strap her down to a table and
Yep.
sort of, have a bit of
I am my wife now.
exactly.
At least they weren't doing that to Victoria.
No.
But in terms of just powerful women in Doctor Who, I just don't think 5 and 6 of Troughton's era. I don't think it can be bested actually. Like Miss Kelly is an amazing character, isn't she?
Yeah.
Certainly, I think you've got nothing else until the Andrew Cartmel era.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah, remember at Battlefield, you got Xiao Yung and Bambera and Morgaine, and my God,
Oh.
you wouldn't want to take on any of that lot, would you?
Tell you what, Mark, why don't we just skip ahead a bit and just go straight
Yeah.
to Time in the Rani 1? Can we just do that? They've persuaded me.
You're apparently going into the golden years now.
Well, we'll see about that.
guys, we've all got, right, we're all in a big warehouse. It's got all the Doctor Who stories on film. It's on fire. And for some reason, you can only open your hands about yay far. You can save one Doctor Who story from the entire 60s. Which story are you saving?
Does it include all the ones that are currently missing?
Yeah, you can. It's a magic warehouse.
Where the fuck is this warehouse? Magic.
Wigan.
Wigan. It's outside Nairobi.
Ian Levine's dungeon.
We all knew it was in Wigan, didn't we? All of them. That collector. One story. Oh God. I'd be torn between two. One Hartnell, one Troughton, and they're both long ones, and I think they're both amazing. Dalek's Master Plan and the War Games. I don't know which one I'd go for. It would have to be a spare of the moment, whether you choose the dog or the cat. Oh my God, I've got half a second, or whether I take, my Evelyn Smythe collection of big finishes or Mark, it would just be on the day. So between those two.
Frazer.
Oh. This is tricky because, obviously there is a lot of Troughtons in there that I haven't seen. So, walking into this mythical Ian Levine warehouse, or Philip Morris warehouse it might be actually, the temptation there is to say, well, I'm going to grab something I haven't seen, so I might go for, say, View from the Deep, because I would like to see how that looks. I might be, it might be the Myth Makers, because again, or the Massacre, something along those lines.
Massacre's a good shout.
But, if it is, this is, the repository of Doctor Who, and, this warehouse burns down and no one ever gets to see these stories ever again, it's got to be the Dominators, because everyone then has to watch the Dominators. That is the representation of the 60s.
Surprise.
Yeah, you want to watch a black and white Doctor Who, it's the Dominator.
Yeah, you could take these things too far, Frazer, Jesus
Ian.
Christ. I mean, would anyone else in fandom give you that answer?
Possibly not.
That's why we keep him around, folks.
Yep.
For me, I would be very sorry to lose episode 1 of An Unearthly Child, but I would have to save the War Games, because I think that's all you need of 60s Doctor Who. And it's got Edward Brayshaw in it looking majestic. And, oh God.
Here he goes.
I would. Oh.
Credit to you, Ian, it has got a quark in it as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And it's got footage from Fury from the Deep in it, Frazer.
it has, yes.
So it's got something for everyone.
Yep.
Mark.
Oh, so tough. Frazer mentions the Massacre. That's a great story. And we really enjoyed that one, even though we could see nothing of it. So hard. It's Master Plan, isn't it? Of course
It was going to be, yeah. I mean, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Scared you were going to subvert our expectations then, Mark, and
No,
say
no,
the
predictable
Celestial
as
Toy
ever.
Maker after the episode you put out.
Jesus.
That one, I'm frisbeeing that right into where the fire is at its peak.
Can I change my vote to the Toy Maker?
Oh.
Yes, of course. So
No,
if you
I'm
like
joking.
the judicious word, use of the N word in Doctor Who.
I can feel my heart like skipping a beat.
I tell you what, Power of the Daleks. Power of the Daleks,
Yeah.
that very
God,
first
yes. Yeah.
Troughton, the Dalek conveyor belt, how they realised that in the 60s with that budget. It looks smashing on the animation, but
Yeah.
that might be the one, that might be the one.
That's a solid shout.
Because I could go to the shelf counter and I can just put my arms a little bit wider and get 10th Planet 4 as well. Get that off.
So, do you know what,
if there's
Mark?
room for 10 cans, basically, I can do that actually. now we're thinking about it. If there's room for because there's room for 12 cans, isn't there? Because you're getting the master plan. So I've got 12. Right. Okay. So that's 2 6s. Right. So I'll take Power of the Daleks.
Do you see what I mean about the format? You asked him a simple question.
Yeah, so now
choose one
if you can
story.
save 12 episodes from the 60s.
Right, I'll have Power of the Dogs. I'll probably going to take the end of the master plan because I really want to see the last episode of that. And then I'm going to have the Dominators as well because that's 5. So there we go.
Well, I want to have Unearthly Child 1 and War Games 10, and then any old shit in the middle. I don't care as long as it's not.
You've
Celestial
got
Time
all
again.
5 missing episodes of the Space Pirates. Then well done.
Lovely.
Can I take the opportunity to answer Mark's question about the 60s?
Yeah,
Because I just think it is a period of Doctor Who unlike any other. It's a period of innovation and experimentation where until you get to season 5, there is no formula, right? And it's unlike, there's always a formula or a tone in Doctor Who, right? Think of Hinchcliffe, you think of Gothic horror. Think of Williams, you think of a Threepence budget, but like it's literate and imaginative, and think of the 80s Who, and you're yo-yoing between something truly shit and something amazing from week to week. But in the 60s, there's no consistency to any of it. You could, all of time and space, there you go, is open to you in the 60s, whether that is the planet Vortis where there's no other humanoid characters, or back alleys of history that we've never heard of, like the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve and stuff like that, where you can literally change the face of the lead character into another actor and people barely blink. Yeah, they just accept. What is it Toya Wilcox said? She goes, that's how fickle we are. I was so appalled that he changed, and within 2 episodes I said, William who? It's just extraordinary. But the thing that always impresses me about the 60s is I think it's stylish as fuck, the 60s, and I think it has an atmosphere. Those black and white stories have an atmosphere to them that Doctor Who never ever captured again, and that's a mixture of the monochrome and how they light it, but also the special sounds they used back in the day, the weird experimental music that they did, and just the fact that they just went for it. They had the corner of a pathetic little studio in Lime Grove, and they said, we're going to take you everywhere. And that's 60s Doctor Who. Now you're going to see some amazing Doctor Who in the 70s and the 80s and beyond. I don't think you're going to see a period as eclectic, as magical as the 60s.
That's ambitious.
As ambitious.
It is. It's I 100% agree with you there, Joe. It's so.
We've got this recorded.
Imagine it. You're going from a school in Coal Hill, so you're going from a modern school. Then you're going to the cave in, and then you're going to a distant planet where there's metal aliens, and then you're going just into the TARDIS.
You're not going to do every story, are you?
Yeah, of course not.
I jumped about a bit,
but this range, like you say, the web planet Vortis, and then you've got the Celestial Toymaker where you're just going outside of reality, and then you're going into history, you're going to the Gunfighters where you're just making history up, and then you're going back onto modern day Earth. The 60s, it's just this cauldron. It's just this massive, boiling, bubbling cauldron, which turns into a bit of a forge. You can, especially when you get to Troughton, especially when you get to season 5, you can see the 70s being forged at that point. You can see the layout of everything that Dix and Letts are going to do, everything Hinchcliffe and Holmes are going to do in the 70s is just foreshadowed in things like the War Games and the Underwater Menace and Enemy of the World and the Web of Fear and the Invasion. It's all just leads up nicely to the 70s. It's so mad that a whole decade is just defined in black and white, and then the 70s start and it's just so completely different. But without the 60s, where would we be? Where without this constant churn of ideas and this, we've got a bit of a conveyor belt of personnel, which affects negatively at some point, but it's also a great strength. Just this churn of new people, new ideas, new ways of doing it that just pushes this show that realistically should have lasted 3 or 4 years.
I mean, if Galaxy 4 is where Veruca Lambert technically went out, and some would say somewhat lazily, and then the Mythmakers is where the next team come in, then that's change of personnel. Bravo.
I think it's a time of incredible creativity. And I think what you were saying about the atmosphere of the black and white, the monochrome, I think that despite the lack of budget, I think that really helped to create an atmosphere and perhaps hide some of those slightly shonky sets, so you didn't really see the full extent of the cheapness, whereas I think by the time you get to the colour series, that perhaps is unfortunately brought more to the fore. But I think I love it so much. It's just such a magical period in the show's history, and I think anyone who's only used to seeing the more modern stuff and you want to dip into it, I think you're in for a real treat if you're prepared to accept it's a different pace from modern telly and you have an open mind. I think you can have an awful lot of fun with it.
What I will say
the
to
Keys
that,
of Marinus, which is as fast as modern day television. Pop, we're somewhere else. We're somewhere else. It's like a Rusty Davis season, you know?
Yeah.
what I'll say to that to kind of back that up is my son, he's 13 now, just turned 13. You know, for his 13th birthday, wanted, you know, off the back of Reality War, he just all of a sudden got into Doctor Who and got into classic Doctor Who on the iPlayer.
Oh wow!
Binged a lot. You know, he's flitting around like a butterfly. So he'd watch a bit of Genesis, a bit of the War Games. But come to his birthday, and he specifically requested the recons of the Hartnell stories. He's not too fussed on Troughton, but he's absolutely caning Hartnell. You know, literally all the recons off of eBay. He's got them in his room. There was one particular story which he has watched over and over and over and over again. Do you want to guess what it is?
It's going to be out there, isn't it? It's, Massacre.
Savages.
Galaxy 4. The Massacre. Oh no, someone said that. The Mythmakers. Smugglers. Marco Polo. The Crusade. We're running out of stories here, folks.
Yeah, because you've got a blind spot, guys. You've got one that's just you're trying consciously to ignore.
The Celestial Toymaker.
Celestial Toymaker, bitches.
Oh,
wow.
He loves the Toymaker. He's watched that last episode over and over again on the iPlayer. He stole my animation and then wanted his own for his birthday, so he just caned the Toymaker. The Toymaker, my 13-year-old, is
Nirvana. Had the mouth of babes. What the fuck do we know? Eh?
Exactly. Exactly.
Maybe he should have been on this call.
Yeah, it would be a lot quicker.
Let's make it happen.
He doesn't talk as much as his dad.
Thank God.
As a kid of the Sayward era, I would always say that, you know, it doesn't get better than the Peter Davison era, but it's nice to have
Time Flight and
back.
Arc of Infinity back and back. I mean,
the classics,
gold.
You know, but it's nice to go back to the 60s, which I've never done before. You know, in a sustained way. I've seen maybe 10 of these things until we started doing this podcast, and seeing it evolve and seeing the show kind of look for the tracks that it's now going to stay on for the next 16 years has been really exciting. And as I said, it's been ambitious, it's been atmospheric, narratively it's been all over the place, thematically it's been all over the place. It's been a wild journey, and what we get from now on is going to be much more consistent and much more routine, but we do lose something of the magic of the show. That kind of stops now.
Although, because this is like a Troughton themed episode, I will say I don't think the Troughton era is as ambitious as the Hartnell era. Nothing is as ambitious as the Hartnell era. They just tried everything to see what stuck. Shut up, Frazer.
No,
I think the real thing to come out of the Troughton era is how much TV came on from the Hartnell era. You go and watch some of those productions in Series 1 and it's like watching 50s television. It's a stage play on the screen. Then you
Yeah.
go and watch The Enemy of the World Part 1, and that's almost a movie on the screen.
Yeah.
So, and that's Doctor Who, right? That's the joy of talking about it, is that it just comes on in leaps and bounds in how it's shot and paced and edited and the effects and all of that. And, you know, that's the joy of what you'll have in the 70s, is it will get more filmic and it will get more beautiful in ways. Less atmospheric, but more stylish in a lot of ways. Yeah, so I don't think the journey ahead is too bad, you know?
I mean, I agree with what Ian's saying. You know, it gets routine, doesn't it? You know, Letts and Dix are amazing producers. You know, they make amazing stories of Doctor Who. Each season they have has got one story, which is a classic, in my opinion. But you know, it doesn't have that same sparkle. You know, it doesn't have things like the Mind Robber. You know, I'm gonna disagree about the creativity in Troughton, because you have got shows like the Mind Robber where all of a sudden we need an extra episode. Don't ask us why. We need an extra episode, and you know, we've got no budget for it, so we've got to just have a white set, and you know, one of the lead characters falls ill halfway through, so how are we going to get around that? All that creativity going, and there you go to the War Games, you've got this mad idea of World War One, but Roman soldiers coming over the hills as well, and you know, Poncho Villa with the, you know,
there is a predictability to Troughton that there isn't to Hartnell. In 4, the predictability is that, fuck, what the hell are we doing from week to week? We're trying to find a tone. 5, it is, we've talked about the formula.
Yeah,
and then 6, it is panic stations.
it is, but you know, it's still there, isn't it? It's like I say,
Yeah, there's peaks and troughs,
You
but
know-
you can't predict Hartnell at all.
you
You don't know where you're going from week to week.
no. I think there is still that element in Troughton, but you know, I see what you mean.
I think something that gives me hope for what's coming next is I thought I knew the Hartnell years, but now on this journey I've had a complete reappraisal of that. So I'm hoping I'm going to have something similar
Do you
in
like
the next
hanging out
era.
on industrial bases, Mark?
Well, I could get used
That's
to
what
it.
it says on that wall in Clacton.
Look what you've got coming up. You've got
Lots of pipes and smoke and things.
Autons. You've got Carey Blayton's kazoo.
Boy,
You've got the
got
ambassador
Liz Shaw's hat. Go on, say it.
of death. Liz Shaw's hat coming up. You've got
Liz Shaw's wig in Inferno.
you've got John Levine as a werewolf. You know, you've got so
You've got
much to
Mr.
enjoy.
Brown Nose from the Ministry to
Yeah.
come. And Mr. Chin.
Yeah. You've got the Master.
You very soon, Sarah Jane
Oh,
Smith,
boy.
Omega,
You've got...
and then
Sergeant, we must do the fertility dance.
we've got
Gold.
plenty to look forward to. guys.
You do.
Well, I think it's probably a good time to wrap things up. I just wanted to thank Joe and Fraser for coming on. Joe, where can our lovely listeners find you? Assuming there's anyone in the world of podcasting that hasn't heard of you before, would you like to give your show a plug?
I'm afraid I can't. This is the first podcast I've ever done.
Well, you've done
so
very well, I
I
have
can
to
be
say.
found here on all of time and space. Thank you. You sure you want to thank us for coming on? We've been bloody chaotic here.
Oh, it's a beautiful chaos, though.
A Hamster with a blunt penknife. We've just celebrated our 1000th episode. You will lose IQ points, but you will have fun.
And you also have a few other things on the go, don't you? You've got
do I?
Untitled
Oh, tell
Star
me.
Trek podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just hanging with Nathan, really. It's not really a
Yeah.
podcast. We just sit around and take the piss out of Beverly Crusher. It's great fun.
Sounds good to me.
What else do I do? Can you tell me, please?
Finish big.
That's it. Just hanging out with him downstairs. It keeps him happy if I watch a few big finishes, you know.
Yeah.
It's
that everything?
Sort of a Colin Baker and a hand job, you know, finish big.
Oh, and the book club, obviously.
Oh, bloody hell, yeah. Oh, yeah, we read books as well. Yes.
Yeah.
We have a jolly old time with that. Come back and do one with us again, Mark, one day, please. We still miss you.
Oh well, if you do the Roger Hargreaves Mr. Men Doctor Who books, I might be able to manage one of those.
Oh, my God. I can't imagine it'd get better than that. Do you remember the one with the Rani in it? Oh, wonderful.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, much better than the reality war, wouldn't it?
Well, it's very much on the same level, surely.
Yeah. No, I
it
think
was
that's being very harsh on the Mr. Men
a
book.
bit more sophisticated in the Mr.
Yeah.
books. Yeah.
How dare you?
Just, I'll tell you what, if you put my name in the podcast catcher, about 9 million episodes will come up. You'll get sick of it after 2, but give us a go.
Frazer, lovely Frazer.
Oh,
Would you like to? Oh, hello.
yeah, you'll probably find me on Hamster with a blunt penknife as well. Disagreeing with Joe about 2,000 times now.
You have been known to appear on Trap One.
Trap
from time to
One,
time?
yes, and I have made various appearances at various other podcasts.
Been on the Library of Impossible Things.
Yes, Library of Impossible Things.
Dave Rennie's podcast, The Polis Box.
Polis Box.
Yeah.
I've got a Polis Box coming in October.
Let's try and get them all in. Any more? Jim Allenby's What's in the Box. You've been in his box, haven't you? Yep.
Been in his box. Gallifrey's Most Wanted. I've popped up on there. Doctor Who literature. Done a few with
World Stories in the End. You've been
World
on?
Stories in the End.
Yeah.
God, you whore! Is there anywhere you won't go?
No. I'll wherever someone will have us, I'll pop up, and I don't seem to get invited back that often. But I don't know why.
We had to sit and listen to him, right, give us 56 reasons why the Ambassadors of Death should go through. I mean, someone wrote a Shakespeare play in that time.
Was it Shakespeare?
Well, that's a very interesting question. A lot of scholars believe it was actually, I can't remember his name now, the other guy.
Oh, Marlowe?
Marlowe.
Yeah, that's the one, Kit Marlowe.
How did I know that? Oh, he was gay, wasn't he? That's
Yeah.
Well, thank you both very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
It's been lovely. It's been it's like listening to my favourite podcast, but watching it as well.
I've been trying to crowbar my way into this podcast for years and years. So
Yeah, me too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah.
You're
It was
one of
our
us.
pleasure. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to get in touch, you can contact us at mailbagofrassilon@gmail.com. We're also on Blue Sky at aotas.bsky.social, and we're also on Facebook. Thank you to Momo Tempo for providing our theme music, and special thanks to Harry Whitley and Andy Moore.
Is that where we are?
I think that's it.
Oh.
Hey. I mean, we did cover like we covered
think-
companions,
yeah.
stories, tones,
Yeah.
women.
Yep.
Couple of little rants along the way.
Oh, well, you know what? We'll have to go back and drop in a bit where I take the piss out of Ian Chesterton and a bit where I go directional, and then I think we'll have covered pretty much everything that people want.